Dan, what about the writer that's too loose, too sloppy, doesn't totally check everything out? Oh, it's going to be fine. Because they're almost like two
sides of the same coin. Mm-hmm. Well, that's where a consultant like me can really help, can really tell you, okay, this is not a professional level quality. I was confused in places. I really felt like scenes went on way too long. I felt like these voices weren't authentic in dialogue. So I'm the kind of person, a writing coach, a story consultant, who can really help someone like that and really guide them to improve their craft.
So both of those traits, perfectionist, loose, kind of non-detail oriented, where does that stem from?
Where does it stem from? Where you fall on the spectrum?
No, I'm wondering, how does someone become a perfectionist, and how does somebody become kind of loose, sort of...
Kind of lazy? A lazy writer?
I'm not even sure if it's lazy, but they don't seem to care as much about details because they think they don't matter. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're willing to spend time on stuff that does matter, so they're not lazy in that respect, but in terms of tying up loose ends, they think, oh, they'll understand. There's just some people that flow with certain things in one way and are more controlled in other ways. And where does that come from?
Well, I think it comes from your personality. I think it comes from your own personal experience, how you approach creative work. But it is a craft, and it's going to take a long time to learn that craft and to really perfect it and to write your best work, to find your voice and write the best thing that you were born to write. That's going to take time. And if you are really loose and what you might call lazy, just you're not detail-oriented, you're not specific, you don't care if a scene is confusing because it makes sense to you, well, that's going to be a problem because the reader cares, because the reader wants it to make sense and wants it to be tight and wants it to have a really great arc and surprise and subvert their expectations and wants it to just be great. So if you are a really loose writer, then maybe screenwriting is not quite the discipline for you.
Sure. Then the flip side of one that can't let it go because there's just too many variables that they've got to make sure are right, but then the life is squeezed out because it's so tight.
Mm-hmm. It can become drier the more you pick at it, I can't say specifically which draft, does that happen. Like, okay, between draft 12 and 15, it's going to get way too dry and you're going to lose that original essence, But there is that instance in which someone picks at something, rewrites it so many times, takes every single note they get from every friend and every consultant, and it ends up just kind of bleeding it dry, and you lose the essence of the original idea, the original concept, what made you passionate about that. So that's a pitfall too to look out for,